All right, I'm going to call this 3 ways to run a Python program. So if you have Python installed, first thing we can look at is what's known as the Python shell. So you just type in Python 3 like this, and you should see something like that. We are no longer in Bash. We are in a Python shell. And you can think of Python as just some fancy calculator. It will do computations for you. It will give you input and output. It will take input and give you output. You can define functions, all kinds of things. Print yes. Okay, so a Python shell is going to execute one command at a time. But what we're more interested in is writing files with a whole series of commands and then running that program. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to quit out of this, and I am going to make a file. How about, why don't I do this on the desktop? So cd to the desktop, and I'll make a file called example.py. Okay, and yeah, once again, I get this funny delay on my desktop. I don't know why, but when I hit ls, it seems to force it to pop up there. Let's go ahead and open this thing with Sublime Text. And what do I want to write in example.py? How about take some input. So x equals input. What is your name? All right. And then the next line is going to say, hello X, I am computer. Okay, so this is a super simple, kind of silly program, but I just want to show you how it is we're going to be running these files. So I want to save this. Okay, I'm going to come back over to my terminal right here. If I ls, there it is right here, my example.py. So I'm going to type Python 3 example.py. What is your name? My name is Daniel. Hello, Daniel. I am computer. So you see the program worked. We didn't get any errors. We just ran that program. That was one way to run it. If that's the only way you ever run a program in here, then that's fine. That's all you need. Just for fun, I'm going to show you a couple other ways to run this program. I can come back over here, and I'm going to add what's known as a shebang. So I'm going to tell the interpreter here on my computer that this is actually a Python file. The .py extension is not enough. So if I go to here, this is actually a directory on my computer, and this is a little binary program right here that's going to recognize Python 3. Okay, and I'm going to add that as the first line of my Python file. I'm going to save this. Okay, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to try to run it in a different way. You'll see we get a little error first, though. I'm going to try to execute this as an executable. I'm going to do /example.py, and it says, nope, not happening, not working. What I needed to do was I needed to make this an executable. So I chmod +x example.py. Now this makes this an executable file, and it's going to run just as it did before. Now we can still do it the same old way, and this is really the easiest way, Python 3 example.py. And that's, again, the easiest way. Now there's another way that you probably don't need to use much. It's not really special or handy, but just to show you, let's go back to the Python shell itself. So when I type Python 3 without any other file after it, it brings me into the shell. I can I can Command K to clear my screen again, but I'm still in this Python shell. You can tell because of the way it looks over here. I'm going to import example. Notice I'm not going to put .py afterwards. When I import example, it's going to start running that program. Okay, if I hit X, nope, X is still not defined. You notice that we had this variable X in our file here. It's not defined even when I import it and run it this way. Okay, so to quit from the Python shell, I'm going to type quit like this and go back to there. Now, just one last tip for you. The only reason that you use the Python shell, not the only reason, but one really good reason to use the Python shell is to explore things. If I don't remember how certain like integer division works or something like that, I can come test it out in the Python shell. 7 divided by 2 like this gives me 3.5. 7 mod 2. We're going to go over all these math bits in class at some point. But the Python shell is a good place to experiment. Now it's also a good place to get help on things. So if I, for example, want help on the print function, it's going to tell me some stuff about it. Okay? Whenever you end up in a window like this, you hit Q and then you're back to where you were. If I say x equals 5 and I want to know more about this thing x, I can also do dir x, and it's going to tell me about all of its methods. When we learn how to program objects and classes, this is going to come in handy. So the Python shell is kind of for exploring and testing, and then you're going to come back and you're going to write your Python files. You're going to write your programs like this and run them from the command line like we were just doing a moment ago. Okay? Hope that helps.